What's up, the world of internet? We are here to talk about some Rainbow Six, and with the Six Invitational coming up in, well, a couple of weeks. Yeah, as you can see from the hoodie. I took it upon myself to invite Willkey over to talk about the tournament and everything that's happened since, basically, the Pro League Finals. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite. Wasn't that far away, so easy to stop by, you would say. And yeah, anxiously waiting for the invitational.
So, I mean, obviously, I guess one of the key points people are going to be interested in is that Shot left to go to Penta, and now we have to bring in a new player. Talk about the process of, first of all, picking up a player, and then, like, how has everything been going since you started practicing with UUNO?
Yeah, it kind of hit us by a surprise that Shot got the offer from Penta to play full time for them, and we didn't have that much time to decide who do we want to replace him with, because we needed to start our practice to the invitational. So I knew there is my little brother that's excellent player as well, and he could be potentially one of the replacements. And then I asked around the team that who do they think that could have the potential to be at the team, and then they said that UUNO, and there was a couple other names also in the talkings, but because we didn't have that much time, we had to go with two and then decide on those two, and then we trialed both, and in the end I just said that I'm not gonna vote because my little brother is part of the vote, so that would be kind of awkward to be voting about that. So I said just the team that you guys will decide the replacement, and I will play with whoever you guys decide.
And it ended up being UUNO.
Yeah, I think like the guys talked about it, that Sneaky is my little brother, that he played also really well, but because he doesn't have that much the competitive experience, whereas UUNO has been playing competitively in Penta Academy all the time from the summer, I think. So he had the experience from the comp play. So that was kind of the deciding factor for the team members that they wanted to go with UUNO. I could say that aim-wise, Sneaky would have been as good or maybe even better, you never know, but he doesn't have the comp experience, so we had to go with UUNO.
Yeah, no, it definitely matters a lot. I mean, there's so many little things that people don't even realize that make a difference. It's not only the skill and individual level that one can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Let's go back to memory lane a little bit, though, before we can jump ahead and talk about the upcoming tournament. You know, in hindsight, now it's been, a couple of months since the Pro League Finals.
Yeah,
I think more or less.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, time flies past.
Yeah.
You can't even remember any. I can't remember what day it is today. But anyway, like, obviously a big win for you guys. You know, you finally managed to defeat your monsters and everything. How do you look at that tournament now in hindsight? Like, what kind of an experience was it, and like, how big of a deal do you reckon it is for the future now that you have that championship now? Obviously, that was your number one goal, but there's more to be grabbed, right?
Yeah, of course, like the game is getting bigger and bigger all the time, so being the champ also always opens up doors to yourself and your team, so it's a good thing that we finally made it to the end, and also like prove it to ourselves and our fans and like Ubisoft, ESL, everyone, that we can actually do it and not just make it to the finals every time and lose at the first match. So yeah, of course it was like huge getting off the monkey off the back. Most of all, like the first game against Evil Geniuses, that was like just getting rid of the monkey once and for all. So that was a huge game, and after that it was just kind of like free mode, that you didn't really have any pressure after that, because you beat your own monsters and you could just play the best possible game after that.
And it was a beautiful trophy. I just saw it today for the first time in real life as I went to the gaming house, because we got a replica of the trophy, and it's beautiful. Talk about a little bit now that you are going ahead to a big tournament. Obviously, it's a major for the game, but from like a more broader perspective, since there's obviously going to be a lot of people that don't have competitive experience, what is the preparation like for this kind of a tournament for you guys in terms of, like, all tactical things, just dry running, or in your case, kind of I guess theorizing more than dry running, since it's not big of an option. But how's the practice and like everything going to a tournament like this?
Well, we started practice to the tournament right after we picked UUNO. Like then we were able to focus to the tournament. But the problem kind of with Rainbow is that because there is always two kind of meta changes during a season. Well, now it's not a ongoing season, but you still have the meta change. So we practiced with, let's say, meta 1 before the patch, and then the mid-season reinforcements hit like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. Luckily, it didn't change that much, but you still got like buffs to Capitao, which is now a viable choice to play with. So it kind of mixes things up. So yeah, it's kind of annoying to prepare something and then let's throw these out of the window and let's do something else.
Yeah, that happened to, I heard for Overwatch as well. There was a patch that came out literally like yesterday or something.
Yeah, and there's the Willkey nerf, like let's get rid of this champion.
And the same thing in Counter-Strike. They don't even seem to consider that there's like tournaments coming up. They'll just have an update right before, but at least you have a little bit of time now to obviously to prepare for the tournament. But yeah, like go a little bit more into the fact like how do you guys practice, because like I said, there's a lot of people out there that don't play competitive, but they maybe want to be in competitive. So how does let's say a practice day for you guys look like usually?
So usually players play like, you could say, from 1 to 8 hours a day, like their personal practice, just playing the game, ranked, solo, casual, whatever, or just with 5 friends or something, just playing on yourself. And then around 8 o'clock, most of the time, in Finnish time, we come together as a team, and we either have a practice, or we do dry runs, or we brainstorm some tactics, and that usually takes from 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours. So there can be quite a bit of playing per day, but we try to keep at least 2 days per week as 3 days to be with your family or do something else.
Yeah.
And at least like I try to do something completely else at that time, and I success to my team also that do something else, play some other games, or just get your mind off from Rainbow, because when you play a lot it can kind of get exhausting to play the same game all the time.
No, yeah, I've definitely been there. Sometimes it's good to, literally, my advice would be just go away from computers altogether for a couple of days, do something absolutely different, not even play other games. In terms of practicing, and especially now, going ahead to a big tournament, obviously teams are going to be changing things. It's not as easy to start anti-stratting, but there's obviously tendencies and stuff like that. How much do you guys, like, going into the tournament, in terms of preparing yourself, you probably don't take that much into account who you're going to be, playing against, but like how much is like the ratio between, playing a game against a team and you kind of try to play according to what they do versus just concentrating on your own thing?
Well, on practice, you most of the time want to do your own thing and don't really mind what the enemy team is doing, and just work on your own thing and see how they react to that, and like to let them expose the weaknesses of your strat so you can fix them afterwards. So you shouldn't be trying to win the practices. You should be trying to see the flaws of your tactics and then learn from those like exposures that the enemy team is showing to you. And sometimes, like if you feel that okay, our strats are like fine and you haven't had the time to do anything new, you can yourself be the adaptive team and train that as well, that okay, this time let's not run any strat, let's just adapt to what the enemy team is doing, and also practice that play style, so you have the option to always follow your strat or go from the fly, and trying to keep the balance with those both styles. Like a good example was the Black Dragons game that we played in the finals, where we were running our strat in just chalet and we were 0-0 down, and then we just, let's not do this and let's just go back to our old strats and also call from the fly, and then we took the 6 rounds in a row. And
Yeah.
so you always want to have those options open.
Yeah, being able to adapt, obviously,
Yeah.
that's a key part of, you know, every competitive
Yeah.
play, because everyone's so smart,
Yeah.
you know, be able
Yeah.
to think really, really quickly. How has it, you touched on it a little bit, but how has the meta changed now? Like, have you noticed anything different from practice?
Well, it's good that, like, it's double-edged sword, the meta shift. That it's the thing that keeps the game fresh, keeps the casual players in the game, and also brings the new players into the game. But competitively wise, it's kind of annoying that those meta shifts happen. This time it wasn't that huge, so it was kind of good that, okay, only Capital got buffed, so there was only like one big change, and Ela got nerfed, but it wasn't so huge that it really affect anything. So there's only like one extra operator that you need to take account of, like, are they running it? Do we want to run it? So it was a slight change, but not a huge one. So I think that's like a good way to go before a major, and do like the bigger changes before like Pro League season, or in the mid-season reinforcements of a Pro League season, and let the majors kind of stay not that affected about the meta changes, because those are the biggest tournaments with the biggest prize pools, and they are so important for every team that I don't think it would be fair if a team would qualify with a certain meta, and then in the tournament it would be in a completely different meta. So would it even be fair that this team is in there because they got there in meta 1 and now it's meta 2? That would be kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it's definitely better if you have a major big time changes after big tournaments, like now with the Six Invitational coming up. What's your expectations for the tournament overall? Like in terms of, I guess usual suspects will be the ones to be expect to go far, but you know, what's your own view?
Well, first of all, it's the birthday of Rainbow Six Siege, so it's gonna be a good like rainbow festival with all like influencers being there, the game developers, probably Ubisoft people from France as well. So it's gonna be a really nice event overall, and the biggest one so far. So that's one thing.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going there too, because it's the first time I've not been to any of these events before. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, last year it was the first invitational. It was the biggest tournament at that time, and it was just amazing, like the atmosphere, everything in there. And we have just gone up step by step after that, and the Sao Paulo was just insane, like the crowd and everything. So now that we go to Montreal, and if we keep stepping up, it's gonna be just huge tournament, and like team wise, the usual suspects, and I bet no one wants EU to win again, because we have been winning the whole year, Penta and ourselves. So I'm sure the Brazilians are working hard to beat us. So NA guys like Evil Geniuses, I bet they have studied every team like piece by piece to know all the little details of everyone, and they will be prepared.
Yeah, no. Then that could be a dangerous road as well if you go too far into trying to like read into what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
You can really screw up with what you think, and then you
Yeah.
you kind of put yourself in a hole right there. But it's going to be very interesting to see how it all develops. More specifically, who do you think is going to be in let's say the top 5 aside from the usuals? I mean, you're obviously, let's exclude yourselves.
Okay. Ourselves, well, it makes things easier. So let's go with the group A and B first, because they are on the other side of the bracket and we are on the other side. So from the other group, I think it would be unfair to say Penta wouldn't make it, because they have the 2 titles, and they just reinforce their lineup with Shate from our lineup. So yeah, I bet they are in the top 5. If they are not, it's gonna be like I would say it's make or break for them, because they have, on paper, you would say the best lineup at the moment.
Yeah.
So if they don't make it, I bet there's gonna be huge changes overall. But so let's say Penta 1. I would also say from the group A, Evil Geniuses, depending on what kind of mindset they're coming into the tournament. So that would be 2, but then they both would need to win the teams from from the group B to be in the top 5 or 4. So let's just say they're gonna do it. So no one from group B is gonna be in the top 5. Or actually, in 5 will be, but not in top 4.
Yeah.
So in top 5, if I need to pick one, let's think. Let's say Team Liquid, just as a newcomer, big org, all the support. They have a high expectations, so I hope and I expect that the team will deliver. Yeah. I don't think they will make it to the top 4 because of EG and Penta, but they could be the top 5th team or the 5th place team if they are the number 1 team from their bracket. So then Group C. So in our side of the bracket, that's actually a kind of tough one because there is a Black Dragons, Elevates, Supremacy, and I think it was Mind Freaks, maybe. Not sure.
Okay.
About the 4th team, but from there. Well, looking back, I have to say it's Black Dragons over FaZe. Then it would be ourselves, but if I cannot name ourselves, I need to pick.
Yeah, I was going towards your toughest competition.
Yeah, let's say Supremacy. So then it would be no one from Group D, not even us. But so 2 from Group A, 2 from Group C, and no one from B and no one from D.
Yeah. No, I mean obviously you guys are favored to go through your group, obviously. But what is that going to be like for you guys, though? I mean, you now have a new player on the lineup. He's going to get a little taste of the land medicine, if you will, at Assembly, as you have a game there. But obviously, it's kind of tough to go into a massive tournament with a new player. Yeah. How does that play into it, your opinion?
Everyone in our team has been in their first tournament before, except UUNO. And everyone knows it's kind of like a new experience. Your hands are a little bit shaking or sweating or getting cold, whatever type of player you are. At least we have the hand warmers this time, so we can fix the cold. But yeah,
it's cold in Montreal.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember my hands were kind of shaking at the first game, but it kind of like settles up once you get some games under your belt. But yeah, a big tournament straight the first tournament for UUNO, and it's major, so it's gonna be a tough one, that's for sure. And everything needs to be on point for us to make it. There's like no bad teams in a tournament. Everyone has made a long journey to get there. So even in our bracket, there's FaZe, Era, and ENCE. Everyone is like really hungry to make it to the top 8 and then to the top 4. So yeah, there's not gonna be any easy games. So everyone needs to be playing on their top level, and also like kind of like I wouldn't say dragging, but like cheering up UUNO to also get like the good vibes for the tournament.
Yeah,
and like looking after him that he will be delivering his potential also at the tournament.
Yeah, no, I think considering you guys are obviously 4 of you have won a big tournament already and have some experience, that will help them a lot. If there was more than one player that had, it would be their first tournament, I think it would be a very, very different situation. What do you think, in generally speaking, we have, obviously, like you pointed out, big organizations coming up. Rainbow Six and Ubisoft seem to be having big plans for the future. It's a pretty good spot to be in, right?
Yeah. Just like for a Rainbow player, it's the best moment. You have been watching the improvements on the game from the get-go, and you're finally seeing all that attention getting into the Rainbow. It's kind of glad to be part of the community. So now we got Liquid, we got the Evil Geniuses, we have FaZe, ourselves, Penta. Well, Penta has been on from the beginning as well. There's rumors that Counter Logic Gaming is entering before the Invitational from the NA side, and there's also been the rumors from other bigger names. So it's good place to be.
No, and I think something that people forget often is how long the journey for a game is to actually, develop into a big esports. For some, it's happened straight away.
Yeah.
But, if you think of the journey Counter-Strike has had into Global Offensive more specifically, in 2012 CSGO versus 2018 CSGO, 2012 CSGO was freaking garbage. It was the lack of features and everything compared to what we have now.
Yeah.
And obviously CS has a massive history. So it helps a lot in terms of the game growing. Rainbow Six now has a couple of years on its belt, and it's being constantly developing and having a.
And it's really rare that you see like game published, and the player base is still increasing all the time after 2 years of the release.
Yeah.
So that's those rare games where all the support from the developers is paying off, and the game is still going on.
Yeah.
And they were actually increasing the prices. So that was kind of weird, but luckily they reverted that one.
I think the one thing that I have an issue following games such as Rainbow, and I'll take Overwatch into the mix just because Overwatch has heroes and you got Rainbow Six has operators. So to understand all the dynamic between the different types of operators and how they work, and obviously multi-layered maps and everything, it's sometimes a little hard to like really follow up on exactly what's going on. So you kind of have to be quite deep into the game to be able to really appreciate a lot of the details compared to some of the esports. So is there any, like, as a player who's played the game for a longer time, can you think of from the top of your head any ways to make spectating experience more noob friendly?
Yeah, of course. Like there is still a lot of work to do with the spectating tools. Also, the observers are really important, that they know what they're doing, and also the casters are playing a crucial role on explaining what is happening on the screen, especially in Overwatch, because it's so chaotic. It's so chaotic. Chaotic. But if you compare it to Counter-Strike, it's so linear. You know that they threw the flash smokes and they go, and it's only like one layer of map. Like everyone is at the same like level. No one is above you or below you, and you cannot make holes to the walls or anything like that. So it's quite easy to watch and play. But in Rainbow, it can be hard to follow it up. But also, I think when you finally get into it, you can appreciate it more, because you understand how much there is depth into the tactics and in the gameplay. So, you could like compare it to something like American football that has like a ton of different tactics, and if you just turn on your TV, like myself, I don't watch the like sport, and it's like I don't understand what's happening. Okay, they are throwing the ball and the guy runs and does a touchdown, but someone that understands that sport really like appreciates what is going on, because there's so much in depth of the tactics.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, like in terms of now the future? Obviously, milestone now. Couple years down the belt. What do you think should the game? What kind of changes do you look forward to? Getting implemented in the game. I know we've discussed about spectator mode.
Yeah.
Being able to coach us in.
Yeah.
Would probably be pretty good for teams.
Yeah, like warm up. Like what I would. Okay, I'm gonna speak with the voice of the esports players.
There we go.
Someone might not agree, but I would say most will. So, what we really need at the moment is a practice mode where you can warm up, train grenades, C4s, flashbangs, smokes, so you have unlimited resource of C4s, grenades, flashbangs, smokes.
Like a sandbox mode.
Yeah, sandbox mode, pretty much. And the warm-up mode where you can either TDM other people with like instant spawns, or like original Rainbow Six terrorist hunt, where there would be no like white mask or nitro cells or barbed wires, so it would be only you yourself, your gun, and the terrorist, and you could just run and shoot everyone. The better way would be the TDM, because bots move in a different way than a real player, so a TDM mode would be the best. But like from the development side, what you really need, and this has been an ongoing discussion all the time with the devs, is that the hit rate needs to be improved all the time. It's getting there piece by piece, but yeah, that's one thing that needs to be improved. And
online and LAN is very different, right?
yeah, in LAN it works better than in online. So we are in a really lucky place that we have been able to play the game in every single like Pro League tournament, offline tournament so far. So we have been able to taste that, what the game can really be at its best. And I hope that everyone in the community would have the pleasure of playing that hit break. But besides that, one thing that I'm really concerned of, I can say also Pengu from Penta is really concerned, is the sound engine of the game. There's a lot of issues with that. With it at the moment, that sounds are not played, or they are like, you could say it's like throttling the sound, that there's so many sounds going at the same time that some sounds are left unplayed, and it can be really crucial, like if you're sitting next to a window and someone punches the barricade and shoots you and you never heard him punch the window, like, what, really?
Yeah, that's an issue right there.
That's an issue, yes. So that needs to be fixed. And also one is the kind of tied with that is the movement sounds, because at the moment we don't have a silent way of movement that you have in Counter-Strike. And that's something that I hope we would get, that when you crouch and walk, you wouldn't make any sound. Because at the moment in Rainbow, no matter how you move, you're always going to make sound. If you turn around, your like gear will like make sound. Yeah. Or if you ADS, your weapon will make the sound that you are drawing, like drawing it to your like ADS.
This is the whole realism versus gameplay discussion.
Yeah. So competitive wise, let's go with the gameplay and leave the realism for the players that want to play that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we because at the moment, because you expect that there is going to be a sound when someone moves, and when there is not, because of the sound throttling or whatever is going to happen, sometimes you get like jumped on without any sounds getting played. But if you would have a silent way of movement, you would actually expect that there is a possibility that he's going to come without I myself hearing anything. So I would really love that ability to have that like sneaky play style where you could move without making any sound.
Let's twist this around, because everyone always talks about negative things, and we just did.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about Rainbow Six? Best things right now in the gameplay, in your opinion?
I would say it's the operators, because you have so many operators to choose from. It keeps the game fresh. That it's not like let's buy an AK and rush B or anything like that. You always need to pick an operator, and everyone has a different layout. So you have like every round a different kind of experience playing the certain operators. So that's a good way to keep the game fresh. Also, I really like the feel of the firefights. I have always been a real fan of the like ADS shooting compared to the fire Counter-Strike style. So Call of Duty's, Battlefields, all like games that have used the ADS have always been my favorites. So that's a really nice thing to have. And then the destructibility of the environment is quite unique, and I think that's like the core thing of Rainbow.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing to have okay, here's a wall. I want to go through it. Let's do it. Just blow it up and yeah.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the learning curve is definitely there. Coming from a player that's played the game before about, I want to say 10 hours, 15 hours maybe total. There's still some things to be learned. Yeah. Coming from myself as a Counter-Strike player, obviously communication has always been a very, very key thing in CS, and obviously has to be a key point in Rainbow Six as well. But please talk me about talk me through how does communication work in a Rainbow Six team? Because considering how the maps layouts are, and how many things you need to kind of probably name in the maps, how does the communication work in Rainbow Six?
So I expect every team to, let's just speak competitive wise. So so I would expect that every team has a call outs for each map, for each position in each map. So some teams use the information that Compass gives you, that's in your screen. Some teams have unique names for all the positions. It just depends on how you want to go. go with it. But you need to have the names for each places in the maps, and then learn the names of those and remember all of the names. It can be quite overwhelming in the beginning.
Yeah.
And when there is a new map coming out, like Tower came in right now, it's not in the competitive map pool yet, but it's like we are in a learning curve of remembering all the callouts for that map at the moment. So it can be annoying, but it's just something that you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then during the match, like in ranked, it's different. Sometimes no one calls, and if you play with mixed team, it's some calls. But in competitive wise, it's like you practice certain tactics, and at the beginning of your round, let's just speak attack wise because it's easier. So when you drone into the building or outside of the building, you're trying to find certain patterns happening, that what the team are reinforcing, and you can calculate what they're probably going to do from that. And then you can pretty much call that, okay, let's play tactic A, B, C, D, E, etc. on the information you get from the beginning of the round. And then everyone starts to like do their job on part of that strat. And you, at least I think it's the best way, that you don't need to tell everyone that what they need to do. They already know what they need to do. And then the in-game leader in our team, myself, just focuses to call the like minor details, like, okay, listen to your teammates, okay, they're giving call that, okay, there's a player in place X, and then you decide, do we want to chase him, or do we want to just leave him there, and let's concentrate on the bomb sides, and just someone watch the flank. So just call the minor details and like trust your teammates to know what they are doing.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah, good old classics. No, yeah, just wondering because of the dynamic of the game being just much more from a game like Counter-Strike. This dynamic is just the range is so much bigger. So I'm just thinking, how does it affect in those terms? Good to know. So not every one of you has also played in a high level Rainbow Six, so it's probably interesting to someone else than me as well.
But it's so sometimes, because there is so much depth into it, you can like overflow your TeamSpeak or whatever voice comm you're using. So you kind of need to have only call the like certain details in a round, and you need to like have the pattern to do everything else, so that you don't need to call every single detail, because otherwise the TeamSpeak would be overflowing with information and people wouldn't be able to concentrate on the game sounds. So I think that's the like good balance of like controlling everything and like not controlling anything, to just call for the minor things and have a like plan for the overview of the round.
Yeah. All right. I guess we've been going on for the past 30 minutes about a lot of different things, but I guess as a last part, how does it seem? How has the Finnish scene been looking at you? Like how many Finnish players do you see around? How's the scene going here? Is it getting bigger? More players? Is it hard to calculate?
Yeah, it's like because there's a lot of things going on in my life. There's a limited amount of time to pay attention to everything that's going on, but I check the Go Fours on time to time, and it's nice to see that there is more and more Finnish teams playing those. So that's the entry level of way of playing the Rainbow. So if you have if you want to play the Rainbow comp scene, just pick friends and go play Go Fours. It's every Sunday from 5 o'clock onwards. Just reserve the whole evening if you want to make it to the top.
I think they have that Go For concept for a lot of games. They have that for CS as well. That's what we first started playing in like 2012. So it's definitely a great concept.
It's good way to like, because there's no like bet in it, so you can just grab your friends and play, and if you lose, it's like whatever. So it's a good way to like introduce yourself to the comp scene and see how it goes. What is your level compared to the other like mixed teams? Sometimes you might run in a bad luck that you face Pro League or Challenger level teams in the first round, but that's just bad luck. Go back next week and hope for the better opponent in the first round. But there is also going to be the new tournament from the
ESCN guys.
Yeah, ESCN guys, and there's some teams registered so far. I hope we're going to see more teams, and ourselves. We haven't made up our decision yet, but I'm pretty confident that we are not going to play that and let that be like entry-level tournament for Nordics. So I hope that we are going to see more new teams entering there and some players that we could watch, because we have a lineup locked in at the moment, but you always need to like watch what's going on the scene and keep an eye on like possible players for the future. So I think it's better to let the newcomers play that tournament.
And also, if you look at the landscape, what Ubisoft was also announcing earlier, there's a lot of competitions for you guys to be playing in.
Yeah.
This is going to be the busiest year we've had.
Yeah. So we rather use our time to practice than play every other day that tournament.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of examples from different games as well. If you don't go to too many tournaments, you get really burnt out, and then you just don't perform as well. So it's very important to be able to understand when to not play as well.
Yeah.
So, have anything to add? I think it was pretty. I think we went through some interesting back and forth there about a lot of things. Obviously, good luck. I'm obviously going to be there as well in Montreal. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So there's going to be at least one Counter-Strike player at the Invitational. Anyone else?
An old Counter-Strike player, but still,
Counter-Strike face. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, exactly. Now there's more of talking face. It's actually, it's kind of, I don't know if it's just very sad, but people actually comment about, oh, you're that commentator. I'm like, yeah. I used to play for 15 years ago.
Actually, yeah, the team that I forgot from the Group C, that I said that they're not going to make it. Sorry, Fallen. It's Fallen's team.
Oh well, shit happens.
So maybe he is there.
Yeah, you never know.
He might give me a bad eye now, but
yeah, you never know. All right, I think this is gonna wrap it up. So, any final words you want to say?
I hope everyone will enjoy their time with the Invitational, and good luck to everyone attending it, especially all the teams. See you there.
Good luck everyone watching it.
Yeah.